Hello and welcome to the Ruth Loves to Knit podcast. I'm Ruth and I love to knit. It's Wednesday the 15th of September 2021 and I'm so glad to have you here today. If you've been here before, you know what's ahead. If you haven't joined me before, I'm so glad you have chosen today to spend a bit of time with me. I'm coming to you from a dull and dreary Devon this morning. We've had some beautiful weather here, but today it's very dull. I've tried all different lighting things, and due to my grey hair, every light in the place is shining off it. So we're in sort of natural lighting, and I apologise if there's a lot of shine or if it affects you in any way, but we're heading into winter here, autumn winter in the southwest of England, and it's probably not going to get much better, so I'll have to work on that. But hey, we're not a professional podcast. We're doing our best and we're here to enjoy all the knitty goodness. Where can you find me? I'm Ruth Loves to Knit on Instagram. I'm Craftymadmidwife on Ravelry, and I also have an email for the podcast, and that's ruthlovestoknit@gmail.com. And I'll hold up my hands. I'm not great at Ravelry, but certainly I do check my messages on Instagram and on my email. So if you want to get in touch, feel free to use those two methods of communication. For those who don't know me, there's been quite a few new subscribers. Thank you so much. Like so many podcasters say, it blows us away to think we're just sitting here in our houses and people all over the world are joining us. It's amazing. If you saw the size of this little room in way down the southwest of England, it is just amazes me every time. But I live here with my husband, Nigel, my two children who are back at school. Samuel is 11, Eva is 13, and we work for a Christian mission down here in Devon. And the mission is called the Faith Mission. Quite a few people have asked me about that, and you can look online for details about that. And you know, I said in my last podcast that I was looking forward to getting the kids back to school, but my goodness, it's got really busy. I think things are opening up. We work alongside churches and they're opening up, so our days are filling up, which is great. That's what we're here for. But it does cut into the knitting time, doesn't it? And also, right off the bat, my nose is itchy, and mine I think it's all the yarn, isn't it? My dad said to me the other day, Ruth, do you watch yourself back? Do you realise how many times you touch your face and touch your nose? So right from the start, I will apologise for any facial touching. But I think I've seen so many podcasters do the same thing. And as I said, it's not a professional podcast and I can't sit in my hands. So sorry, Dad. Sorry, everybody. But that's a rambly introduction to me. But as I said, you're very welcome here today. Now, for those who have been here before, you'll know we're doing a knit along. I'm doing a knit along with Fernanda of Littlemonkeysand Me podcast. She is on Instagram as Littlemonkeys and _me, and on Ravelry as Littlemonkeysand Me. And I have been keeping an eye on the Instagram side of things, and she's been keeping an eye on the Ravelry side of things. And our Instagram hashtag is across the pond shawl cowl, because by now you know Fernanda is in America and I'm in England, so we thought that was an appropriate title for our cowl. Lots of M's today, I do apologise. Very tired. Our dog last night decided that a spider in the kitchen was going to attack us and kill us, and had to let the whole house know and bark the house down about 12 o'clock, and then decided to do the same thing just to be safe at about 2, and she was up for good at 5. So if I slur my speech or I'm even more incoherent than usual, you'll understand why. Never work with children and animals, is not what they say. So anyway, back to the cowl. So it's across the pond shawl cowl, because both Fernanda and I are obsessed with shawl knitting, and I think we've maybe dragged some people kicking and screaming into our obsession as well. Uh, and last week, if you want to go back, episode 15, I think, I showed some of the gorgeous prizes that I have for the cowl, and I noticed on Fernanda's last podcast, she had shown some prizes too. She's got beautiful things too. So it's 15 days to go. It finishes on the 30th of September. Still time for a wee one skeiner shoved in there. I know you can do it. Hopefully somewhere on this screen I'll have put the wee cartoon that Fernanda did for it. She's a very talented lady, and yeah, it's last time I looked on Ravelry there was 110 finished objects. Oh, the only thing I would say, if possible, either put your finished object on Instagram or on Ravelry, because it can get a bit confusing if it's on both places. I haven't counted up the Instagram ones yet, but it's well over, there's been a lot of chat on there too, obviously, but there's well over 100 different things on there as well. So we'll be correlating all of that and sorting that all out, and Fernanda and I'll be discussing that. And it's been amazing, the people have taken part from all over the world. There's one lady has, I think, entered 18 shawls. I think we might have to do a special prize for that one. And she's just said it's kept her sane through all of the things that have been going on. And I have to agree with her, definitely. Knitting in general, but knitting shawls, I just find it very soothing, very cathartic, very brilliant at this. Just what we need when we're some of us are still stuck at home, some of us are out and about, but let's face it, everybody is a bit stressed at the minute, aren't they? So that's a long-winded cowl. Some beautiful crocheted shawls there. Honestly, that's just like magic to me. I don't know, it's some hookery pokery trickery that you can get those beautiful stitches on your hook, and that's really lovely to see as well. So if you want to crochet one or knit one, you've still got plenty of time, because it doesn't finish to the 30th of September. There you go. If you haven't been here before, you'll realise I'm a rambler. So there you go. So better look at my notes that I do actually have. So that's the podcast, and I've just written here, life is busy. I hear so many podcasters that say life's busy, but your life's busy for everybody, isn't it? So let's start in the good old traditional way with some FOs. Now I have two FOs, but only one here, and I have completely lost my sock mojo, completely gone out the window. I was an avid sock knitter and it's flown away. So if anybody finds it, please send it back. But lovely Jeanette of Crafty Clegs Creations, she has a podcast and a lovely Etsy shop, but I'll warn you, if you go and check out her Etsy shop, you'll have to buy her stuff. It's beautiful. But I had a lovely piece of material, fabric, and I asked her would she make me a bag out of it. And for her payment, she asked me to make her a pair of socks. Well, poor Jeanette made me the bag long before I had the socks ready for her. But anyway, however, eventually she wanted a wee pair of shorties, which wouldn't even take that long, but she got them anyway. I sent them off a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to see those, just a pair of shorties, made with sable yarns in the colourway Lil, which was my granny's name. She was Lily, but everybody called her Lil. And Jeanette's like me, she likes nice bright colours, so you can go and have a look on her Instagram, Crafty Clegs Creations, and you'll see those wee socks there. So that's a wee finished object anyway, but they languished for a long time before I got round to finishing them. And then my other finished object is the Flying Fox shawl, and I've had this on Instagram too, and as soft as butter. And this is the Flying, very hard to show. There we go. And I'm really trying not to talk when there's something in front of my face. I'm really trying, but I'm sure I'll fail. And I made this out of, let me see, Debbie Bliss. Oh, sorry. This is the Flying Fox shawl by Gotham Knits. And I think it's maybe her first design. It's actually designed originally for fingering weight, but she said in her pattern, you know, you can use DK, whatever. And I actually ended up using sport weight. I had got it for something else, used a wee bit of it and had a bit left. So it's Debbie Bliss, baby Cashmerino, and it's the colourway Russet, but it's coming up even maybe a wee bit oranger than it is. It's a real wine, mulberry wine colour. But if you'd seen my Instagram, sorry there, my face, touching my face, I had it knit, I had it blocked, I had taken photographs of it, and it was only whenever I looked back at the photographs that I realised that I had missed a whole yarn over for the eyelets. So I just added a wee button. You might see on some of the things I knit, there's random buttons, and sometimes it's just for a wee bit of something different, and sometimes it's to cover up a wee oopsie. So just a wee random button. I think it looks all right. I think it looks fine, and you don't even see it. Once I wear my shawls, if they have a point, I wear them, you know, like that, and you don't see it, but it's as soft as butter. I really enjoyed knitting with it, and it's DK, so it's sport, sorry, so it's so quick to knit up, and I would definitely knit another one, even in fingering. And if you haven't tried, it's a written pattern, and if you haven't tried lace before or anything like that, it's really, really simple to do, so that might be a good one if you've got 2 weeks to sit and just knit on a shawl. You can enter it into our cal, but I really love it and look forward to wearing it. And I mean, the stitch definition with the yarn is just beautiful. So that's my Flying Fox. Sorry, Dad, my nose is itchy. The Flying Fox shawl by Gotham Knits, and she's obviously on Instagram. Her name is Olga, and I said last week she does the most hilarious reels on Instagram that are applicable to all knitters. So if you haven't checked her out, go and check her out. I'll put all the details down below so you can have a wee look at that. I'm just going to chuck this over on. There's a bed behind you, so I'm just going to put it over there. So that's my finished objects. A few less than the last time. I meant to say, I'm wearing a t-shirt today, and this is going to be my new hashtag. After the cowls finished, this is going to be my new hashtag. Can you see what it says? It's my knitting, I'll cast on if I want to. And I got that, she actually had 20% off at the time. I got that from the Happy and Bright Co. Oh, doesn't help when that's over it. And she is on Instagram. She's there, you can see the website address, and she's also the same person who runs Lanaboo, and Lanaboo at the moment is doing a reduced to clear sale on all knitty related things like notebooks, pencils, pins, pencils, I've said pencils, washi tape, all knitty related, and with all the wee sayings like these ones here, you know, that we love to say, you know, don't shush, I'm counting, and all this. So go and have a wee look. Some of them are as cheap as 50p, and she does custom prints, and that's what I got this. But as I said, it was 20% off when I got it, but it's so nice. I love it, and that's going to be, I should have put a hashtag in front of that, but that's going to be my hashtag from now on, because it's my knitting, and if I want to cast on, I will. I sound like a spoiled child, don't I? Anyway, so whips. Always plenty of whips. Might not be plenty of finished objects, but plenty of whips. So the first whip is my Kinship shawl. I always find that hard to say with my teeth in. And the Kinship shawl is by Stephen West and Olga, Buraya, Kefelianin. And I don't have a picture of it, but I'll show you. Yes, Olga, Buraya, Kefelianin. Yes, and it was from Pom Pom issue 35. And I've got on well with it, but we're up to like 500 plus stitches, so the rows are long. Now I'll show you the shawl first. So it's really turning out. So the wee flump, if I don't know if you have those in other countries, that's from Rasmussen resin, which is one of my favourite. That would have been a thing, definitely a thing here. The wee sort of marshmallow, and we call them flumps. Sorry, the lighting is shocking. And that's how I've got on so far. I suppose it's like this, isn't it? And I could have finished at the end of this. That would be size 1, but you know, me, go big or go home. And it still had all the yarn left, so I thought there's no point having wee half balls here and there. So I have another one of these to do here, and then that'll be me finished. But as I say, I'm into, I think, 570 something stitches, and I've still a load more to go. So the rows are long, but I just love it, and it's so squishy because it's garter. And I've shown you the yarns numerous times, but I'll talk about it one last time maybe, although it might still be on the needles. So this is from Love Hand Dyed. It's just a grey black yarn, And then, so that's the background. And then the other two colours I'm using are Regia Yak, merino yak, and I got these at my local yarn shop, and one's gold and just a pinky dark, and lovely to knit with. I wouldn't mind doing a pair of socks in these actually if I ever get my sock mojo back, and still plenty left of those. That should finish me out no problem. And they're just Regia, and you can get that everywhere, can't you? So and I think it'll be fantastic when it's finished and blocked out with the to really make those pop. I love it, really love it. I think there's a theme. The other one was nearly this colour too. And I don't know, can't promise when that'll be finished because I just chug away at it, and you think you're getting there, and then you realise there's every so often you do make ones. So I think in one row we made 57 in one row, so not sure when that's going to get finished, but anyway, of course it's in my all-time favourite So Yarnalicious bag. She has some beautiful bags ready for Christmas, like, you know, not ready made, but you order them and she'll do them made to order. Oh dear me, my brain, lack of sleep. And yeah, I love that bag, and it's so sturdy as well. So that's the Kinship shawl by Stephen West and Olga, Buraya, Kefelianin. Just wait till I put this into my bag, or I'll be looking for it. So that's that one. And then it's my knitting. I can cast on if I want to. I started into something else. You know now, if you've watched any of my episodes, that I have fallen in love with Tiff Nealon. Maybe not the person, but the her knitting patterns. I've fallen in love with knitting with DK, which I never thought I would. I entered a competition of hers to flash your stash, and I won it. So I won 2 free patterns, and one of them was this one that I cast on. And because I've lost my mojo for socks, our knitting group has started up again in our local yarn shop in the Woolly Beater in Oakhampton. Hi everybody. And I wanted something that wasn't socks but wasn't, you know, had some wee bit of thought process in it, not much. And they'll be laughing at me because last week I went and I did about 6 rows wrong. But anyway, I cast on. Excuses. Now the photographs in this pattern are useless, so you're not going to get an idea. But it's called The Seasons of Love Wrap, Shawl, Scarf, whatever you'd like to call it, by Tiff Nealon. So it's really, there's beautiful pictures on Ravelry, but that's not going to do it justice at all. But I'll show you what I've done so far. I'm actually holding fingering weight double to make it DK, and it's probably going to be the most expensive shawl item of clothing I've ever owned ever. But I just decided, you know, what am I waiting for? I have this beautiful yarn, lots of one skeins. You know, I'm a sucker. I go into the yarn shows and see this absolutely gorgeous one skein of yarn, buy it, and then think, what am I going to do with that? And I just decided, you know what? Why is it sitting in my stash? What am I waiting for? You know, is there going to be some memorial to me made of yarn or something? So I'm going to use it. I'm not keeping anything for good. I'm going to use it. And just enjoy it. And yes, okay, if you look at the price of things, you'll think, what, there's going to be, you know, but hey ho, I'm going to use it. And this is what I've come up with, and I'll tell you about the yarns in a wee minute. So I've just passed halfway. Sorry about that. Oh no, that's all right. Well, it's maybe a wee bit brighter. That's it. That's fine. These are all just a smidge brighter than a shot. Maybe that's it there. Anyway, I'm just about halfway. You can see I've just started decreasing to go back down. And I'm using, I mean, it is just, if you haven't tried one of her patterns, I just highly recommend them. It's so squishy, and it's a real stash gobbler if you've just, you could have used 20-gram minis, you could have used, you know, oddballs. If you know, a lot of people knit with 100-gram socks with 100-gram balls and then have 40 grams left. Perfect project for that. So let me get some. So maybe wasn't what I planned to do with these yarns when I bought them. I think I was going to do kind of a fade, but I just loved them and I just thought to pot. I'm going to, sorry for crinkling, they're in a plastic bag. So the start of it are these 3 colours here. Right, I'll put them back here. So these 3 colours here, and they're from Blue Fern Yarns. It's just, there you go. Okay, they're from Blue Fern Yarns. Or should be Blue Fern Yarns. And this one is Tumeric. This one is Oh Honey Honey. And this one here is Beautiful, but it's Bee-utiful. I'm really sorry about the lighting. Can't even get there. We go. See the contrast now. And that's the first bit, the bit I did the first bit. I need a bigger house to put all this stuff in. A bigger room. Got a big house. So that's the bit here. And then I used another different dyer, and this is wheat from Attic Spin Dye. I have 2 skeins of that, and I'll probably need the 2 skeins. And then I used another colour. I've used the whole colour, and it was given to me, very, very nicely given to me after I had my operation. And it's called Take a Moment's Rest. And then the colour I'm on now is this gorgeous colour. Oh, look at that. And it's again Attic Spin Dye. There's their wee. And it's Gleam Through the Bower. And so autumnal. Beautiful. And I'm holding it with that. So it's a paid for pattern, but you kind of double knit. You go knit a row, pull it back, and knit back the same row. So that's why it's so squishy. That is the worst description of anything I've ever, but, and I can't wait. Now, I was a bit annoyed about the way the clear demarcation line, but you know what, whenever it's around my neck, it'll be beautiful, and I love it, and that's really all that matters, isn't it? Let's put all this back or I'll be looking for it. So it wasn't my plan to use those yarns in this project, but I love it, and I'm just going to use things up. I'm just going to use what I have and not keep anything for good, because we all know tomorrow isn't promised, and I'm just going to enjoy it. And of course that's in my Hohi bag that I showed you last week. Well worn Hohi bag, and yeah, just knitting away on that now. I do apologise for my arm. I decided to take a tumble a couple of weeks ago. I was taking my kids to get pre-return to school haircuts, and I decided to land down in the ground in the town. And I discovered that pride actually comes after a fall, because my pride was much more hurt than anything else. So, but it's still, you can see the scars on my elbows. Anyway, that's that. Then the tea that I was doing for my mum, if you watched 2 podcasts ago, the Scissorgate debacle, where the scissors took out an item I was knitting, and we're over it. And I said, well, I'm going to knit one for my mum. She asked me to knit one, and had a bit of a third time lucky, I think. I had a bit of a disaster. I was following, this is the pattern. Decided to print it out to let you see it properly. And it's probably laughing at my description, my translation. Reina de Picas tea by Valentina Bogdanova. And it really is beautiful, and it's the same, that pattern on the back as well. Really gorgeous. And I was following the written pattern, which I tend to do. I had a bad experience a couple of times with charts, and it put me off. So I tended to follow the written pattern, but I don't know what I did wrong. I got one stitch wrong, and of course lace, I hadn't put lifelines in. We had to rip the whole thing back, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to try the chart, and it worked a dream, an absolute dream. Lovely clear chart. You know, sometimes you get these patterns and the charts are this size. Well, this is a nice big chart. Look, I tried to get into the 21st century and start using my iPad for my knitting. I tried, but I'm sorry, I like my printed pattern. I like that I can touch it. I like that I can write on it and all the rest of it. I tried Knit Companion and I just didn't like it, so just bear with me. I'm not as old as my hair makes me look, but I'm old school. I like the hard copy. Anyway, so this is, I'm split for the sleeves. I've finished the pattern. See which is the front, which is the back. This is the front. And that's how I've got on. And well, obviously I will need a good block, but I just think it's beautiful. And it was a pleasure to knit once I started using the chart. It was just so much nicer. You can see. You do this and then there are short rows, so the back's a wee bit longer than the front. Now, I'm taking the kids home to Northern Ireland, where I'm from, in October holidays. They have half term. I haven't been there for, it'll be 2 years, and I've decided to take them, so I'll be able to try this on my mum, and she knows she's getting it, so it's no surprise to her. She asked for it. I'll probably knit a bit more of the body, but try it on when I'm there, and then she can make sure it fits her and everything, and the length and everything, because the pattern picture, it is quite cropped, and I don't think my mum would want to wear something like that. So but you definitely give it a go. I would definitely knit another one for myself. It's just really lovely. And this is in Sirdar Snuggly Cashmere Merino Silk 4-ply. I had this in my stash. I got it for something else, like I keep doing, and then change my mind. And the colourway is Puss in Boots. And it's, as you can imagine, Cashmere Merino Silk. It's lovely to work with. But I'm very conscious of it getting dirty. That's the only thing, so I don't take it. It stays in my craft room. And yeah, you let me know what you think. Sure, it's short sleeves, obviously. Yeah, I love it, really love it, and it's sort of renewed my faith in my chart reading. Although I do think knitting in the round, is much easier to remember than charts knitting back and forth. But so that is the Reina de Picas tee by Valentina Bogdanova, and she has most beautiful patterns, so I definitely would look at other ones of hers. And this is in my lovely Rick Rack Room bag, nice and bright. So that's another whip. Gosh. Turn the page. Okay, so as I said, Sock Mojo gone, but I had committed to knitting socks for the Marie Curie sock quest. I know some of you are knitting socks as well, and I have one done of each pair, so I will get those done. I think even though they didn't really publicize it last year, I did, I think, 8 pairs for them. This year I think they'll get 3. I'm sorry. But I will finish those, and so one is in my handbag and one's in the kitchen, so it's a row on it every so often, but they'll get done. So they're whips, I suppose, really. And then I had to get on the bandwagon too for now that shawl's getting a bit big to cart around with me. I still need something for the knit group, and couldn't be left out with everybody knitting the Mussleburgh Hat. For all those lovely people, I love you all, that call it the Mussleburgh Hat. It is the Mussleburgh Hat. It's a place in Scotland. But we'll forgive you for that, it's fine. And it's by Ysolda Teague, and I think everybody's knit it. I found it quite a challenge. I'd never done that pinhole cast on before, and the one I actually used was the Emily Ockers cast on. I wouldn't say I did it very well. I had to use those dreaded devil sticks that are DPNs, and I dropped them, they fell out. So once I could get enough stitches on, I changed to magic loop, and then eventually on to a longer cable. But all you yarn dyers out there, be afraid, be very afraid. There's a new girl in town. No. This is my Mussleburgh hat so far. A little better. And it's got a lovely crown to it. Might have been a wee bit finagling sewn in, it was a wee bit gappy, but nobody will see it. And I, many moons ago, way before lockdown and everything, lovely Hannah of Hannah's Happy Space, you hear me talk about her all the time, and she talks about me all the time, did a yarn dyeing workshop with the two of us, and this was what I came up with. I think which should be named Throw Every Colour at It and Hope It Sticks. And all you yarn dyers are going, what on earth? I hadn't a clue what I was doing, but I had so much fun. And when I looked at it on the skein, I thought, oh, that is so ugly. That is awful. But actually, now I'm knitting it up, I like it all right. I do, I like it all right. It's been reskeined a bit, so I'll need this wee hat, I'll need blocked, and it's the extra large size, but I think it's all right. I mean, there's bits that aren't even tight. But I didn't want to do socks because I put a lot of hard work into it. And you know the Mussleburgh hat, you just knit down, and then you double it up and turn the brim up and everything. It's like that description, it's so good. But that's my one and only foray into hand dyeing. Would love to do it again for the fun. I really enjoyed it and we had so much fun that day. But yes, I think yarn dyers, you're safe. There will not be a new yarn dyer coming on the scene. And yes, I think I'll just leave it at that. But that's a bit of fun. It was just a bit of fun. And my new wee needle stoppers. And yes, I thought that would make you laugh when you see my effort at yarn dyeing. My very, very rubbish effort at yarn dyeing. So there you go. So that's the whips. I have two finished objects, really important finished objects. There's in October, there's a yarn festival, just a small local yarn festival near us in a place called Lifton, and it's in a place called Kelly House, which is 900 years old, so it's a real historic building. You can go and stay there if you want and everything. And we went, myself and my daughter went the first year we moved here, and it was just fantastic. It was all local dyers, local yarn enthusiasts. There was weaving, there was spinning, there was handmade buttons, all different things. And they didn't do it last year obviously, but they're doing it again this year, and they've asked for us to knit bunting. So I thought, well, I have scraps here, I'll knit some bunting. So I've done this is like showing dishcloths for some people. So I've done one wee one, the yarn's from Pound Stretcher, and another wee one there, and I think I'm going to do WW on that for Woolly Weekend. But if you're in the Devon area, excuse me, if you're in the Devon area, you know, it's a really good wee yarn show. The entrance fee goes to charity, and last time they had, into the entrance hall, they had the most amazing under the sea display, all knitted. It was out of this world, and it was all dim and everything, and there was sound of waves, and it was absolutely brilliant, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was probably my first experience of going down really narrow Devon roads. So we're looking forward to it. Eva wants to come with me again, and I'm going to knit a few more of these for them to stick up, but they're going to stick all around the building. And it's a sort of place you can imagine the historical side of it. You know, people, you know, there would have been the people coming up in their horse and carriage and all of that sort of stuff. So that was just two wee things. And just to let you know, if you're in the area, that yarn festival is coming up, and they are on Instagram, so I'll put everything, all the details down below. But that's the Woolly Weekend. So that's the the other thing, that yarn I dyed was for my Lucky Dip Cal yarn for this month as well, and that's being run by Hawthorne Cottage Crafts too. So do you remember a while ago I talked about my 6 bucket list knits? You knew I was never going to stick to those. You knew it was absolutely impossible for me to stick to those. It was never going to happen. And also last week, I said I was going to repurpose yarn from the Curvette, Stephen West Curvette shawl to the Kitona. This one here. Sorry, my dog's barking. It's probably the postman coming. And several of you did message me and say the yarn I was going to use just wouldn't work. It wasn't a big enough contrast, and I think I'm agreeing with you. So that's put on hold, that one there. But I mean, if anybody's knitting it, let me know. And so future knits, or dream knitting, some people call it, isn't it? A girl can dream. So if you've watched before, you'll know that I do sample knits for some hand dyers, and lovely Ishrat of Fruitful Fusions, I've knit her socks, but she asked me would I knit a garment, and just the other day she sent me the yarn, excuse me as I lean over, to knit a garment for her, and she wants me to do the DK V-back tee. Now I don't have a good picture of it because I'm trying not to, if there's anything, yeah, there's nothing on that. It's very, very dark. And it's the sweater that you can wear with the V in the back or the V in the front. And she sent me 4, you can do it 2 colours, all plain, 4 colours, 5 colours. She sent me 4 of the DK. I will have to do a wee bit of maths because you with that pattern, if you stick strictly to it, you have to, there's more, you use more yarn of one and less of the other, but I'm going to have to do a wee bit of math. And these are the colours. I want to get them in the right order. I numbered them as soon as she sent me them, so I would get them in the right order. And these are the colours, one way round. So this is number 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's it. Those gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful and so squishy. All merino nylon is, yes, all merino nylon, 225 meters. And this is Dusk. This is Cornish Sunset. It's not Cornish as in not Cornwall, it's Cornish Sunset. Then Iced Tea. Beautiful speckles. Then the last one is Peach Tea. It's maybe a wee bit lighter than that. And those are all from Fruitful Fusion, a lovely Ishrat. So that'll be getting cast on. She said just to do whatever size would be enough, so probably size 3. So it'd be nice to do a size that's not my size. So that should be getting done quite quickly, and it's short sleeve. Happy days. So I didn't want to cake those up until I showed you the beautiful yarn. And obviously that I'm sure that'll be available in her shop. I know she was doing the Southern Wool Show, and now she's got another wool show coming up, so she's busy. But yeah, I haven't knit a DK garment in a long time, so I'm looking forward to getting that one on and off quite quickly. So that's the next things. It's all gone wrong. Then 2 more shawls that have really grabbed my attention. One you might be surprised about, and the other maybe I don't know if you'll be surprised about. But the first one is the pressed flower shawl. Now I was watching a podcast, and several of the podcasts, it was one of the oh dear me, what do you call it? Can't remember. I'll put it down. I'll put it on the screen when I find. Oh, that's terrible. But there's 4 ladies in America, and they're all on Zoom at the moment, and 2 of them have knit this shawl, and it's the pressed flower shawl by Savoury Knits. Now I think the photograph doesn't do it justice, but it's a DK shawl, and the ones that are on Ravelry are just gorgeous, 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 and just so enjoying the speed of the DK. And I was introduced to this yarn by lovely Amanda of Little Like Hack yarn. She has a podcast as well, and this she showed it, and then said when she ordered it that the dyer had sent her an extra skein free of charge. I thought that's probably just because, well, I ordered this. If it's from Which Crafty Lady, it's just a wee handmade labels, and she sent me an extra skein. How nice is that? And now the colours aren't on these ones, but I think this is lime, and that's true to colour. And I'm not sure, can't remember, sorry, I can't remember. I'll put them down below in the description. And her prices are for that like really, really good. £8 a skein. I don't normally talk about money, but I thought that was very good. And it's 250 meters per skein, which is very good for DK. And it's Poledale Poledale yarn. So I've got takes 2 of each. Well, I'm going to use this as the background and this is the flowers, and I think that'll just be gorgeous. And again, DK, so, and it's quite rustic but not scratchy. You know, it's not. It's just beautiful, and I really, really thrilled with. She's got a lovely mustard on there at the minute, but holding off. So I've got 2 of them caked up, and these are the other 2, and that's a dream. Well, it's not really a dream because I'm obviously going to do it, but that's in the future. And then it's in my wee bag from the fabulous Mr. G. I've had this a long time. I got this from Cooks and Crafts a long time ago. Lovely wee leather handles and a lovely box. It's quite well worn now. Look at this box bottom. She's up on one of the islands, Isle of Skye maybe, or the Isle of Shetland. Can't remember. But anyway, her bags are available on Cooks and Craft website. And then the next one is the Giselle shawl. Again, I was watching podcast. have to stop going on Instagram and have to stop watching podcasts. I think it's the only way. And Cammy Joe Knits is a podcaster from, I want to say, Finland, and she's a pattern designer too. And she showed this pattern on her podcast. It's her own. I'll show you the picture. The Cammy Joe Knits. She's got some lovely patterns, but this is the one that really caught my eye. But you'll be very surprised. Never say never. I said I was never doing podcast, and here I am. It's the background. This bit here is 4-ply, and this is mohair. I said I was never doing it. So I thought, well, I'm not going to use mohair. I don't like mohair. I'll use lace, just lace weight. But I was at Knit Club and a box of mohair had been strategically left on the table, and I couldn't resist it, and I have never felt anything like it. Now the background I'm going to do in this, which is Love Hand Dyed. I've got a lot of theirs because they were very, very cheap whenever I first came into hand dyed yarn. It's merino nylon, 400 meters, and it's called 50 Shades of Black. And I have 2 of those. And then this one here is the mohair. Now that's more orangey. It's much more coppery, and it's Katia, the Katia brand. Now I've used Katia yarn before for socks, and I found it very splitty. I didn't enjoy using it, but this colour 118, and there's about 10 colours, maybe not as many as 10 colours that you could get, and it's Concept and Air, and it's Baby Alpaca and Super Kid. Don't know what Super Kid is. Super Kid mohair, but there's no scratchy, there's no fluff coming off it, it's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm joining the gang and I'm venturing into the mohair. Now it's 1,000 grams, 1,000 meters you need. 1,000 grams, could you imagine? So this could take a while too, and there's 150 meters per ball. Now I've only bought 1 ball, but she's put it, I got it in the woolly bleeder. She's put it over for me because I want to do a wee swatch to see but I just thought that is absolutely gorgeous, that the way it would show through, because that sits on the top of this, and it just would I just think it's gorgeous. I love it. And when she showed it on her podcast, the actual knitted item, it was stunning, absolutely stunning, and so drapey, which is obviously, I love that about a shawl. So another shawl. I'm sorry if you're bored of shawls, but I just love them, and I just love that you can do lace, you can do patterns, you can do colour work, you can do all of those things, and as I always say, one size fits all, which I love too. And that's being housed in my little bag from Soft Accents, little African fabric bag. This is coming up as very yellow. It's not, it's more of a mustard. And I love this wee bag too. It's really well made, and yes, just love it. A lot of people have commented on it when I've had it out and about. Everybody okay? Have you all got a cup of tea or something? Maybe need something stronger. I hope you're all taking this in small bits that you don't watch it all in one go. So sorry but sure, that's the way we talk, isn't it? So that's FOs, whips, dream knitting. Well, maybe not so dream knitting because I do plan to do it. Something I wanted to say. Oh, and maybe there's a test knit coming up for the lovely Deb of Daisy Stitches. I'd said sign up for it, but she just hasn't got the pattern out yet. But of course, it's a shawl wrap kind of thing. It has been on her Instagram, so I want to do that as well. Not enough hours in a day at all. So controversial. I have never had as many messages or as many emails or as many anything as I have over, are you doing the Stephen West MCAL? The world is still turning, but no, I'm not. I did it for the last 2 years. I've done it for the last 2 years, and I've decided I'm not doing it. I really enjoy doing smaller designer patterns, really enjoying them and discovering new designers as well, and the whole world seems to be doing it, so I'm going to, for once, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon. I'll say if it turns out to be lovely that I wouldn't do it in the future, but I'm not going to do it. But absolutely recommend doing his MCALs. I have done them but didn't enter my finished item or anything. But there's great support. If there's any stitches you're not sure about, there's so many people to ask for. So enjoy it if you're doing it, and it's a great stash buster. And if you've bought some nice new yarn, enjoy that too. But I am not doing it. Controversial. So yes, the world is still turning because even though I'm not doing the Stephen West MCAL, but you enjoy it if you are. The other thing I put on Instagram was not anybody, but who put a poll for the ranunculus or the love note sweater. So the ranunculus is by Midori Hiroshi and the love note is by Tin Can Knits. And some people said neither, which is absolutely fine. But the overwhelming number came out for the ranunculus, and it seems to be a Marmite. For people in Britain would understand that it's either you love it or hate it. And but I'm just boggled by the fact you can use so little yarn. I have several skeins of like just two skeins of yarn that I maybe got for something, changed my mind, and so for my size I can use 2 skeins of yarn. That's amazing to me, and I know it is short sleeve. And recently, I'm still having a wee bit of problems, even though I've had an operation and everything, I'm still having a few problems. And so I've been wearing dresses, well, as my husband calls them, sacks. comfort, ladies, comfort. And so I thought, well, if I had more of a, that kind of style top over it as the colder months come in, I'm a bit like a child who covers their eyes and thinks that you can't see them. I think if I'm covered up, you can't see the issues. And let me live in my denial. I thought maybe I would cast on one of those at some point. But the ranunculus seemed to have taken the lead. So I do have the pattern. I bought the pattern, way long time ago. So I might look into that, but that's not been anytime soon. But thank you for those who did vote on that, and for the few who said don't care. That is totally valid as well. So how are we doing? We're doing all right. So there's a few things have come in, mostly gifted, which is lovely. As I have mentioned, my lovely friend Hannah, who works in the Woolly Beater and also is a good friend, and also obviously comes to the knit club there that has started again. Oh, it's so nice to be sitting around the table and knitting and gabbing and carrying on and drinking tea. And although I have been banned from the tea making, apparently I make weak tea, so I've been banned from that, but I thoroughly enjoy my coffee when I'm there. And a couple of Saturdays ago I decided to go, and I don't often get on a Saturday just to spend time with the kids at home, and my son had been being a boy, and as sounds awful, maybe you'll all criticise me for this, but as a bit of a punishment he came to knit grit with me just to get him out of the house and away from, driving everybody up the walls, bless him. He started high school, and I think it's all a bit overwhelming for him, but overwhelming for me. But he came to knit grit with me anyway, and if you've watched Hannah's Happy Space podcast, please do. She's great. There's nothing she can't do craft-wise. You'll know Sebi, her little nephew, has been doing cameo appearances on it, and he was there that day. And if you watch Hannah's last one, she'll talk about how they met me. And I think it's because he watches me on his TV and he thought that's her off the telly, you know. But the two of them sat and they chatted and had a great time, actually. It wasn't really a punishment, and they played their mind, talked about Minecraft, and they got a bun out of it and everything. But when I got there, Hannah said, pass me over a little bag. Well, you know, if you've watched this, I love to chat, I love to talk, I love a good chin wag. Well, I think they all witnessed a historical moment of me being lost for words, and a bit tearful as well, because she handed me this bag. Ruth loves to knit, and well, she's made me lovely and slim, so you're always my friend, Hannah. And that's me, isn't it? Look, it's just gorgeous. Wee sock size and beautiful bright orange inside. Now Hannah's only just started to learn how to sew, and she's picked it up like that immediately, and a lovely box bottom too. I haven't put anything in it yet because I wanted to show you. And my son, the reason I said about my son coming with me, we turned to him and said, "Who's that?" And he said, "It's an old lady." Well, it is an old lady. She even got the grey hair. But to reinforce that, there's two podcasters who have mentioned recently that they wish they could knit with me and that I was their mum. Both of them have children, school-aged children. I don't know how old you think I am. I suppose I could be your mum. So I'm feeling very old. I have a big birthday next year, but it's not a 60th, you know. And, yes, Nicole... and Brogan, and yes, I would love to knit with you too, but please, I'm not old enough to be your mum, don't tell me that. But this is the bag that Hannah gave me, and I cherish it. I absolutely cherish it. Look at the skill, isn't that just fantastic? And yes, there was tears and I was speechless, so just lovely to have such beautiful friends and talented friends. And then one of the ladies had posted her finished object on the Instagram hashtag for the shawl cowl, and she had said she was putting a little label on it, and I have been looking for labels, and I would like to put, I wanted the wee label that doubles up, you know, it's on both sides and you can sew it on the bottom, just for my shawls, not for any gifts or anything. And I've been looking for a long time and thought these are ideal. Now I think the two that I ordered are these two. I hope you can see because I don't really want to take them out. So I Am Loved, and I made this. And they're from the Little Rosie Cheeks company. It's on Instagram and at little.rosie.cheeks, but I'll put it down. And then littlerosiecheeks.com on the web. And she has so many others to choose from. But apparently she watches this podcast. Hello. And she sent me two other sets. And one says, "Creativity never goes out of style." And the other one is, "I am unique." And these will be coming, I don't want to give them away, but these are for the podcast. So somebody will be getting, and I don't know whether I'll split them up or give them away as full prizes, but I love my ones, and I'll be popping those on my knits. It's a really lovely wee company, and I just love supporting small businesses, and that's those. They came, and then how fantastic is this? This is me in a pillow. Do you hear on some things I must stitch that on a pillow. And this is from my lovely friend Nikki. You hear me talking about her a lot. And it's faith, family and friends, and that is me. That's me in a nutshell. And then the beautiful butterflies in the back, and that came, she never told me she was sent me it. And she also sent me something else, but I've forgotten to bring it up. I'll show you it next week. And just thought that's lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody who has given me things. And yes, just blessed to have such lovely friends, and blessed to have such lovely yarny friends. And it's all through really podcasting and being online, and even the silver lining maybe of the isolation and COVID is I've got to know these people. And although I do see Hannah face to face, but you know, it's just a blessing. It really is. Is that us? Is that it sorted? 53 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed this time. As always, I always finish my podcast. I think I'm going lower in this seat. I always finish my podcasts with a little bit of sharing from God's word. As I said at the very start, we work for a Christian mission, and we have a very strong faith, and we believe in God fully, and the Bible is the truth and God's word. And I like to share a wee bit at the end, but I am very aware that that's not what everybody's here for, and I'm not offended if you head off now. Please don't be offended that I share, but it's so much part of our lives, and I want to share the good news that I know about. But if you are heading off, thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to leave a wee comment down below if you want to. And have a great couple of weeks. I hope everybody stays safe and look after yourselves and keep on knitting. God bless. Bye. For those who are going to stay, last week I said I really struggled with what I was going to share because of everything that was going on in the world. And despite being a Christian and despite trusting God fully and knowing he has a plan, I couldn't see the wood for the trees. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't see that any of it made sense from things happening here in our own country to across the world. And I ended it with saying, but our command is to love our neighbour as ourselves and to love your enemies. And I got quite a little bit of feedback from that. Some was good, some was like, yes, thanks for reminding us. Other ones were like, well, how do I do that? And other ones were, you don't know my life, Ruth, and you're right, I don't. I'm talking here, and please know I'm saying these things to myself as well. I am not perfect. Anybody who knows me knows that. And I just strive to live for God each day in the way I humanly can. So please don't ever think I'm pointing a finger or I'm accusing anybody of anything. It's just something that's on my heart to share. But you know, that very night when I was doing my Bible reading before bed, I got the verse from Mark chapter 11 verse 25. Mark's in the New Testament, and it says, but when you're praying, first forgive anyone you're holding a grudge against, so that your Father in heaven will forgive your sins too. Well, it was a bit of a kind of candid camera moment. Is somebody, you know, is somebody having a laugh? I even double checked the date on the little book I was using, and it was the 27th of August. And after the emails and everything that trickled in, I just thought it's one of life's biggest challenges to love our enemies and love others as ourselves, but also for forgiveness. And you know, I can absolutely guarantee that everybody watching me included, has been hurt, has been offended, has been irritated, has been had something happen to you where there's been bad feeling, or you've been let down, or they've just disappointed you or broken your heart. Maybe it's something even more serious, that a crime against you or something like that. And you know, the old devil just loves to take you down the track of resentment, bitterness and revenge, doesn't he? He just wrings his hand in excitement whenever you have those emotions and feelings. And you know, we can choose to go down that track and dwell and fester, or we can choose God's way. Now, before you all jump, that's not easy. That is not an easy option. You know, Peter, one of Jesus' disciples, came to him one day and asked him, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Up to 7 times? Jesus replied, I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. You know, Jesus personified God's forgiveness on earth. Even as he was dying a cruel, cruel death on the cross, he said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. You know, if our hearts are full of unforgiveness, bitterness and hate, that there's very little room for God. And God expects us to forgive just as we have been forgiven. I keep saying we can't just take the good bits of the Bible and leave the bad, or the bits we don't really like, or the bits we don't fancy using, or we have to take the whole book and apply it to our lives. So much about forgiveness is out of our control. We have no control over the other person, none. You know, they can keep on doing the things that offend us or hurt us or break our hearts, but we have really no control over that. And I think that's what the hardest thing about forgiveness is. It's out of control. But you know, there's 3 things that we do have control over. And one is our thoughts. Refuse to think negative thoughts, as they just fuel negative emotions. Get your thoughts off it. Do something else. Think something else. Fill your thoughts with other things that aren't hatred and spite. That's thoughts. Your words, control your tongue. How often have you see her, do you see him, and gossiping, and misery loves company. You won't go to somebody who'll disagree with you. You'll go to somebody who agrees with you and says, oh yes, they did hurt you, that, you know, and just don't do that. Just keep it to yourself. Share it with your loved ones. Obviously, I'm not saying to keep it all inside, but don't go off talking about it all the time. And then your actions. 2 wrongs don't make a right. And resist the temptation to take revenge. Now I'm sitting here as if to say, just do all those things and everything will be perfect. Listen, it's a process and it's not a quick fix. And it's something you might have to take back to the Lord over and over and over again. But forgiveness is a choice. And we've all seen people on television who've forgiven people the most heinous crimes, and they're the ones who are living their lives, and the people who have committed the crimes are the ones who are suffering. But forgiving others does not mean you have to trust them or even spend time with them. You would never, if somebody's committed a crime against you, whatever that is, you would never think, it's all right, I'll just go and sit with them and I'll just go and you know, let them be in my house. And no, sensibly that person has to serve prison time. If somebody steals off you, you don't invite them back into your house and leave money sitting out. If it's a toxic person in your life, and maybe for your mental health, for your own sanity, you need to walk away. But you know, unforgiveness breeds bitterness, which in turn can poison you. And you know what poison can do. Somebody called David Augsburger said it very well. Forgiveness is not holy amnesia, which erases the past. Instead, it's the experience of healing that draws the poison out. You can recall that hurt, but you don't have to relive the hurt. Unforgiveness hurts the victim, not the offender. You know, you could be festering up inside and you can look at the person who's offended you and they're as happy as Larry, and there's very little you can do about that. Yet you're the one who's suffering, even though they were the one who caused the problem. Ultimately, remember, God will deal with those wrongs. Forgiving someone is not weakness, but a massive strength. Remember, you have no control over that person's reactions. Even when you forgive them, even if they know you've forgiven them, they could still do whatever they want. So you have no control over their actions. But you know, Philippians chapter 4, verse 8 and 9, I'm nearly finished, I promise, says, and now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honourable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Keep putting into practice all you learned and received from me. Everything you heard from me and saw me doing, then the God of peace will be with you. We can't really forgive by ourselves. We need God's help time and time again. And time again in God's word, he tells us that he will help us. Get into God's word. Listen to Christian music. Get into God's word. Read the promises he has, and that will lift your mind off the awful things that are going on around you. But ask for help too. If you have something that's going on and someone can help you with it, and someone can let you talk things through, and a counsellor or whatever, maybe that's what you need help with too. You know, God will help you, but sometimes we just need a bit of human help as well. But remember, no matter the outcome, it says in Romans 8:31, if God is for us, who can be against us? And in another translation it says, if God is for you, it doesn't matter who is against us. And I know as humans, we want to be friends, we want to be liked, we want to be people pleasers, we want people to think nice about us. But you know, the ultimate one that we need to serve and we need to please is God. And you know, God sees you and God knows your situation. But if I can help, if I can listen, obviously confidentially, please email me. I'm more than happy to talk with you on email if I can help you, if I can share anything more about our faith, if I can help you with any scripture verses. Again, I'm not the expert. I've just been saved a long time and I've gone through experiences, and I want to share the good news of the gospel with you. If there's anything I've said today that you're not sure about, please get in touch. And I just pray that even today you'll be able to relinquish those relationships, and to see real forgiveness in your own heart, because as I say, it can be like a poison and can eat away at you until sometimes you just can't see the wood for the trees. I hope you've got through this today. I hope it wasn't such a heavy topic as last week. But remember, God loves you. Ultimately, God loves you. You are unique, and there's only one of you, and God loves you just the way you are. And I just pray that as you go into the next couple of weeks, as I said before, you'll stay healthy, you'll stay well. And I don't know what's going on with this situation we're all in, but just be sensible, wear your mask if you have to, wash your hands, but keep on knitting. All right, God bless. Bye.